You've reached the Holiday Helpline. We turn the holidays into holidays.
Hi, my gift list is a mile long. I don't have time to shop around.
Get to Old Navy now.
Old Navy?
Yep, get all the gifts you need, like jeans, sweaters, and dresses for up to 50% off today, plus accessories from $4.
Up to 50% off jeans, sweaters, and dresses?
Want to really cash in? Redeem your super cash now. And when you do, use your Old Navy card in-store or online to earn double reward points.
Now that's a gift.
Turn your holiday into a holiday. Get to Old Navy today. Valid 11/29 to 12/5, select styles only. Double reward points offer subject to credit approval. See store or oldnavy.com/supercash for details and exclusions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Alternative facts.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States government. At 12:07 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, numerous unidentified objects of unknown intent and unknown origin were detected at high altitudes over multiple locations of Earth's outer space by the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, and these objects are presumed to be some form of controlled aircraft. It is not known if more of these aircraft will arrive, or if they will attempt entering Earth's atmosphere. United States citizens are encouraged to monitor local media outlets, as more updates will follow as information becomes available. The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States government. Attacks by the undead have been reported in several states across the country. The dead are rising from their graves and are attacking the human race. At this time, it is expected that more attacks of this nature will occur in several other states in the next few hours. The intent behind their attack is unknown at this time. He has been observed that a bike or exchange of fluids is a method of transmission. This is an extremely dangerous situation if they crave the taste of human flesh. It is not known whether this event will last for hours, days, or even longer. Stay calm, as authorities have been dispatched to deal with these creatures. An all-clear siren will be sounded when this situation is under control. Pacific Standard Time, nor is detected a long-range nuclear missile launcher. This missile is believed to be headed in the direction of all residents within a 400-mile radius of this area should seek a fallout shelter immediately.
Welcome to Within the Chaos with your host,
Rodney Shortridge,
and co-host, Robin Dalton.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. You can listen in by going to blogtalkradio.com/withinthechaos, or listen in by phone. You can dial 323-870-4197. And you can also call in to ask questions to our guests at the same number, 323-870-4197. From deep within the heart of the Appalachians, I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you all for listening to within the chaos. My name is Rodney Shortridge, and I'll be your host tonight, along with my fiery redhead co-host, Robin Dalton. Well, my fiery redhead co-host is not here right now. She said she was going to be calling in. She's running a little late. I don't know. We know how she does that. But I do have Melinda here. She can say hi.
Hello.
Well, we can, hi.
Hey.
There we go. Tonight, our special guest is a man I met at Penhurst Paracon back in 2016. It is my honor to welcome my friend, Daniel Klaes. Daniel is a co-founder to the Greater Western New York Paranormal Society, producer of Behind the Shadows, and radio host of Phenomenon Encountered. So now I'd like to give a shout out real quick to my cousins up in Ohio, Jennifer and Joe Shortridge of 222 Paranormal. You get a chance, check out their talk show, and you can find them on Facebook under 222 Paranormal. I also want to give a big shout out to the Facebook paranormal groups that allows us to post our shows on their pages, helping us get the word out about our wonderful guests. And also, remember, everybody will be having a Christmas photo shoot located at Tractor Supply, Bluefield, West Virginia, starting this Saturday, December 2nd at 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then on Sunday, December 3rd from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And each weekend till December 19th, you can get couples, individuals, family, children, and pets. No, pets must be on the leash the entire time at the photo shoot so none of them bite me. Purchase a Christmas themed photos CD for $20. This includes 20 to 25 different images that equals 5 different poses. If anybody's got any questions about that, you can contact me at 276-970-1456, or you can go to my Facebook page, Creative Photo Club, or Rodney Shortridge, or you can email us at creativephotoclub@yahoo.com. Also, BDPS will be working with Rhonda Claudio at the Nickerson Sneed Home. BDPS will be hosting, in cooperation with Rhonda Claudio, public investigations at the Nickerson Sneed Home starting on January 2018. I'll post more information as soon as I get it, and we'll also be working with the Nickerson Sneed Home on a joint Paracon sometime in 2018. I think I went through everything. So, Melinda, how was your Thanksgiving weekend?
It was really good. I got to spend it with my son. I don't get to see him too often now that he's married. And we went and watched Coco. Great movie.
Coco.
Yes, I would suggest anybody to go watch it. It was great.
Coco. What's Coco?
It's about Day of the Dead, how the Mexican people celebrate it.
Oh, cool. We're going to be talking about the dead tonight.
Yes, we are.
Well, I went this weekend and I watched the Justice League, and I must say, Wonder Woman is hot. Oh, damn. But it's a great movie. Love it. I'm a big DC Marvel guy. I know some people more Marvel or DC. I'm the type, I like DC Marvel just like I like Star Trek and Star Wars. I can separate the two. A lot of people out there can't because they get aggravated with me about it. You know what I say? Fuck them. I like what I like. But enough of my bullshit. Let's get to our guest. Let's see. It's my honor to welcome our special guest, Daniel Klaes. Hello, Daniel, and thank you for joining us, bud.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We still shit hitting, kicking it. How about you?
Same. I got a full belly. I'm ready for this awesome podcast.
All right. I don't know about awesome, but thank you. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What got you going into the paranormal world? What started? I mean, I'm kind of going way back. This is, until you tell me, Rod, I've had enough. Cut it off. We got a few minutes to talk, and I'm ready to kick back with my Chardonnay and let you have the floor.
Sure. I started wondering about the paranormal when I was really young because there was things happening in my family's home that were unexplainable, that always got sloughed off by my parents, somebody pulling a prank or something like that. But there were some things that that happened that just really, I said, there's more to this. There's more to this. I'm a little kid, but like crayon drawings on the ceiling when we walked in with crayons sitting in the middle of the floor, or my sister used to keep an immaculate bed with all of her stuffed animals. She'd place them one by one. She was very anal about that. And we would come home, and some of the stuffed animals would be sitting in the middle of the floor. One time my parents were camping, and I was staying at my buddy's house next door, and we went over to the house to get my G.I. Joe guys, and we heard singing. Like, it sounded like children singing in the house. So I always had a wondering about it, but it was, my family was very Catholic, and they always sloughed it off as nothing, or a prank, or house creaking, or whatever. You hear those stories. When I turned 18, I kind of, I went to a place called Lilydale, New York. It's like a psychic community. I didn't really believe in it, but I thought, my friend wanted to go, and I made an appointment with a psychic by the name of Ellen Bourne. She was the president of the Lilydale Assembly, and before I even sat down at her table, she said, you have children spirits that are in your house. And I said, oh, wow, okay, because that kind of gives me some, because it was always kind of like a playful type thing, and it was always, weird stuff like crayon drawings or things being moved, nothing malicious. And I did a little bit of research and found out that going back on the deed, that 2 children had passed away of cystic fibrosis from the original owners of the house. She also told me that they were attached to something in that house. And I, for the sake of me, I couldn't find anything that was original. I had no clue, It wasn't until later, down the road, my parents said, they told us, all the kids, we're going to be selling the house. We're going to want to move to a different house now, something a little bit better, we raised you guys here, but they wanted to kind of do their thing, and I asked them if I could buy it, because I didn't want to lose the house, like it was like I don't know, just like a calling to me to get it. And so I ended up buying the house from them and moved my family in. And then my son and my daughter started having some of the same experiences that I was having. My son was actually telling me he saw a boy in the basement. My daughter said she saw a little girl walking on the stairs. There was an attic in the house that I've never been in. It's one of those attics with a little square in the roof, and you needed a ladder. You had to go get a ladder to get up there. So I wanted to check it out. And I went up there, and it was just all dusty, and you had to walk on the beams to kind of get around up there. And over in the back corner of the attic, I saw these dusty boards, and I kind of guided my way over there, balanced my way over there, hoping I didn't fall through the ceiling. And I pulled up the boards, and they were paintings of a little boy and a little girl. And it just kind of, it was a compelling story. It was like a big giant lifelong Scooby-Doo story for me, but once I found those paintings and acknowledged them, it seemed like it diminished. And I still have those paintings to this day. But that really got me going, and I kind of was on a quest ever since then to document and find out more, So it's it was just a nice ending to a story, and I love when things end like that. And I always love telling the story of what kind of got me interested in it. So it was pretty cool.
Okay. You guys? Well, was you able, when you was little, or even your kids, were they able to communicate with these entities, when they were seeing them, or you seeing them and stuff?
I never saw them. My son said he communicated with the one in the basement because he said the little boy had asked him to play. He wanted him to play, and he wasn't scared. My son wasn't scared. He felt okay to tell me about it. So, and I told him he had nothing to be scared about. Right. So it's kind of cool because my family as little kids have been raised to kind of help deal with what Daddy deals with on a constant basis. Like they know I'm always out in haunted locations, and my son Ethan, he's 14 now, and he's very, very interested in it, and he's actually gone up to the Hinsdale house with me a couple of times. And he's just very, very intuitive, very, very intuitive, and I think it comes from his mother, so he can really pick up on things that are happening around him, so it's really neat.
That's cool. Well, you're also a producer of Behind the Shadows. Can you talk about your documentary series and and also about what it's about, to the ones who haven't seen it, and where can everyone go see it if they want to go watch it?
Yeah, so I was working a job, and I had walked in one day, and on the computer as I walked in, my friend Cameron was looking at some pictures, and I went up to his computer and he started showing me some pictures that he caught at a monument in Buffalo, and they were like really purplish orbs, and they looked like spirits, And I showed him some pictures that I had caught in Gettysburg, and it was kind of like a marriage made in heaven with the two of us really interested in the paranormal stuff. So we formed a team, the Greater Western New York Paranormal Society, with a quest to try to help people and also to document paranormal. We were both big history buffs, and we thought that it would be good to document what we were doing, but also be able to put it out in a nice, clean format for people to kind of get the history the way we got the history, and also be able to see what we do when we're doing an investigation and working together and trying to come up with some type of answers to the questions or claims at the location that we were at. So we started producing the show called Behind the Shadows. It's on Paranormal Reality TV, and it's streams on Roku. So it's international. It's got a pretty big fan base to it. We also stream it on YouTube under Greater Western New York Paranormal Society, and we're just going to be starting our 5th season. We've done 4 seasons of it, and it's just been an amazing ride. There's so many really great pieces of evidence that we've captured on some of these shows that we've presented on the stories, and then some, it wasn't that, it wasn't about the evidence, it was about the history that we uncovered, or it's just all very interesting. We do our homework before we go into a location, and we present that all to anybody that's viewing, and they kind of see us live as we do the investigation. So it's really raw. It's really raw and cutthroat, so it's really nice.
Oh,
kind of the way
cool.
I would want to watch a show,
Oh yeah.
Not so flamboyant or flat, things like that,
Yeah.
like you see on TV. I like it nitty gritty. Get in there and get some evidence, and watch how other people do things. So, and I watch a lot of shows like that too. So on YouTube, and when I go to an event or something like that.
I know they we talked about maybe trying to do that, but like I told them, I said, as clumsy as I am in the dark, I said people will be laughing instead of worrying about, did you catch any evidence? No, but we seen Rodney go down like 3 flights of stairs.
We have we put out videos. I remember Louis, our photographer, and he does some video work as well, and we had one of those sensors that with the alarms on them, and he had no idea that it was set up by the stairs, and he had set it off, and it was the loudest scream like a girl that you've ever heard, and he jumped on the bed. It was so hilarious. But we had it all on video, and we put it. We make like a blooper reel here and there of some of the funny things, that we do. You've been on a ton of investigations, so I'm sure too. It's like a family. You joke around sometimes, you have fun, but then there's a time to be serious too. And if you're not having fun, I don't think it. You have to have fun while you're doing it. It's a hobby, so it's not. Nobody's making it rich unless you're one of the top 5 guys. So for everybody else, it's a hobby, or you have a passion to help people.
Exactly.
Hello, Daniel. What can you tell us about? What can you tell us about the Greater Western New York Paranormal Society that you helped co-found?
Well, we've been together for almost 8 years. We have a core team membership of the same 5 that have always been on the team, and there's been a few that passed, or but we usually keep 6 to 8 members on the team. So we've had the same 5, the core members, and it's just it's a family, and it's a situation where, if I go back and look at the first investigation we did together, and it's funny, like if I had Cameron on the show, he would always recollect the first investigation where I said, I'm done, I'm quitting, this is ridiculous, I'm embarrassed, like because I had high expectations of how I wanted it to go, but it never goes the way you want it to go off the bat. But now it's to the point where we get into a location and we know what to expect of each other, and we know who's doing what, who's setting what up, who's going to be where, and it just kind of works together and gets everything done really quickly, and it's all very professional. But it's you see teams come and go. It's every if you don't keep up on it, you'll lose. Especially like with doing radio shows, and I don't know how many times do you get messages from people say, "Oh, I got a new team," and there's a new team of black shirts, and and they just it seems like it's a big rotating thing, and then the other teams fall off. Like people don't stick with it. But we've been around for a long time and stayed together, and we enjoy working together, and so it's been a fun ride. We take little breaks here and there, but at the end of the day, we still get together and we work together and we investigate and have a good time. So it's kind of nice and refreshing,
Mm-hmm.
How many
and
investigations?
we've helped a lot of people, and we traveled all the way, all throughout the Northeast, going all over the place. So
investigations would you say you've participated in within a few years you've been doing this?
Holy cow, man! I mean, I honestly, I in the past couple of years, probably a few hundred. Because I'm gone. You got to take into consideration too, like not just with my team, but like, for instance, if I do an event or if I go do a guest speaking gig at a convention or something like that, and they have a ghost hunt that I help facilitate. I'm a lot of the times I'm involved with those. So when I'm away, it's awesome because I get to go into different locations. Like I was just at the last weekend. I was just in Iowa, in Davenport, Iowa, helping to facilitate a overnight there at the Renwick Mansion. It was an awesome mansion with a lot of history. The gentleman that owned it was one of the lumber guys, one of the capital. It was like the lumber capital of Davenport, and he had this awesome mansion built up on a hill and with a lookout tower that could see the Mississippi River going from point A to point B, so he could see the ports and the wood flowing down the river. And got some really good stuff there. But so I get to do that, and then not to mention I own a haunted house, so I'm there often. Not a lot, but I do go there. I have the benefit of going to the location when I want, if there's nobody there, and doing some experiments. And we also just opened up another one in Salem, Jamaica called a Wildwood Sanitarium. So I have access to go a lot more frequently than a lot of people do to investigate or experiment with maybe new equipment or try something, or maybe I picked something up when I was on an investigation with a group of people in a different city, or it's just all learning and just keep going. So it's I'd have to say probably a few hundred. Like with everything I've done, it's picked up a lot in the past couple of years. And before that, I would probably say I averaged about 20 to 30 a year. But in the past couple of years, it's just been picking up. And, I had to take the month of December off in the beginning of January. My wife was going to have my head. I've been gone every weekend doing this. And I'm glad she supports me and everything. But I get it. I would be in the doghouse if I'm not going to be home for a little while here. So took December off.
Cool. I don't know about that doghouse. Ain't cool at all.
Oh, my God, yeah. Well, this is going to give me time to finish my second book. I'm almost finished with it, so I hopefully should be able to get this done by the end of December and get that out in the new year. So.
Well, can you talk about your first book? I mean, since you already talked about your second one, go ahead and give a plug for it and give us a lowdown on it.
It's called The Hinsdale House: An American Haunting, and my publisher just sent me a message today that I've sold over 1,000 copies this year, which is really good. I'm excited about that. It's really kind of, I guess a lot of it has to do with me going to a lot of different conventions and things like that, talking and people interested in what I had to say. But basically, what it is this whole story of the Hinsdale House. I mean, it's I investigated there quite some time ago, and it was a situation where I had a personal experience at this house. I remember when I first went to the Hinsdale House. Cameron, the other co-founder of Greater Western New York Paranormal Society, he booked it, and he said, "But I don't want you guys to read up on this place. I just want you to come, and I'll present you guys the evidence. I have a lot of evidence and a lot of history on it." So we kind of went with what he said, and we got there, and I remember him giving us little portfolios of information to read when we sat down in the living room, and it was creepy driving up there. It's in the middle of a hill, in the middle of nowhere, up on this hill. It's just really creepy and desolate. You're going down these little dirt roads, and all of a sudden there's this house in the middle of nowhere. And he had played a haunting episode that was based on the house. It was called The Dark Forest. And then we watched this video, and then I looked at him and I said, can you swear? Can you swear on the show? I said, "Are you fucking crazy, Cameron?" I go, "You brought us here. You brought us to this house, and you didn't think it would be a good thing to kind of let us know that there was a failed exorcism here, and that's kind of something that you want to prepare yourself for, and it was okay. We grounded ourselves, and we had an investigation, and we got a lot of positive experiences that night. And I remember we were filming for the show, and he thought it would be funny to bring a comedian up. He had never been on a paranormal investigation before, just to kind of get his perspective. This guy that was there, Brandon, we got a EVP to come through that said, "Leave, get out," and he got up and basically ran out of the house and drove home. He was just freaked out. He was scared. It was kind of funny to have on camera. But after that point, I just kind of felt like there's more to this. There's got to be more to this story. This is still happening. This is back in the 70s that this failed exorcism happened. So I started doing a little bit more research on the place, and we had gone back to film again. And I had done some research on another family that have lived there for a short time called the Misniks. And we were in the kitchen, and everything that we were talking about was this exorcism in the Dandy family that lived there. And nobody was ever touching on this other family that lived there for 70 years or any of the other history. So I called out the Flo Misnik, who was the old lady that lived there. She had actually died and then got revived and later died at the hospital. But she loved the place. And she lived there for a short time. And when I called out Flo, at that point there was no electricity in the house. It was basically a shell. They were about, the gentleman that owned the house hadn't been able to pay the bills, and the electric was shut off, and it's just an empty house. The doors were open, and we had permission to go there. And when I called her out, I had this K2 meter in my hand, and the K2 meter went off all the way to red in my hand. And I had this tingly sensation up my arm, and we continued to have a conversation with, I believe, is Flo Misnik. And she continued to answer questions religiously when I asked questions. And I asked her then, you guys see these ghost shows on TV, and you guys have probably all both used K2 meters, and you'll get the little bleep, 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 when you ask questions. I said, "Flo, will you hold my hand as we go up the stairs?" And I shit you not, the K2 meter stayed lit in my hand as I walked all the way up the stairs into the master bedroom. And the whole time I could just feel this like tingly sensation up my arm. And it was just kind of that personal experience that I felt a connection with the house. And when I found out that they were going to tear it down and get rid of it, and they had tore all the electrical out and all the ductwork out, something just told me I needed to try to get it. And not to mention Michelle, the house manager, was in my ear every day. "Dan, you need to get this house. You need to save this house." And it's and I felt like I wanted to, so I put my name in, and I had called down to the mortgage company to see if there was any way of me even being able to get it, seeing that they had already done the work to, rip the electrical and ductwork out to tear it down, And they said, meet me down here on Wednesday, and we can have a discussion. If you show up, maybe we'll consider it. If not, we're going to go through with it. And I went down and I talked to him, and he could see the passion. He could see the passion that I had for the place, and basically laid it out of how it had to be done. If I was going to take the house, then I had to come up with XYZ amount of dollars by such and such a day. And I'm like, holy crap, I don't know how I'm going to do this, because I had just closed. I just bought another house. I just bought my family a bigger house, and we had just moved in, and I basically used everything I had to buy this house, the new house. So I just kind of prayed on it a little bit, and I said, if this is meant to be, it's going to happen. And everything somehow just worked. Like, things fell into place. Money came in that wasn't supposed to come in, and I got enough to do the deposit, $10,000 down on the house to get it, and got the mortgage. And it just kind of worked out, and I've been trying to fix it up ever since with a lot of help from a lot of other people. And I remember going there the day of I was supposed to sign the mortgage, and I looked at the place, and I stood in the front with the contract, and I said, holy crap, I'm fucking nuts. I go, the roof is leaking, there's black mold, there's the kitchen ceiling is sinking in, there's a beehive of 500,000 honeybees stuck in the floorboards. How the fuck am I going to pay for all this shit? I have no money. If I go sign this contract, I have no money. And I was supported. My wife supported me and believed that, I just kind of believed it was the right thing to do, because there was spirits there that needed help. And, I feel like I was kind of pushed in the position to try to assist them and getting them to cross over, because to this point, it's like they're stuck, you know what I mean? And everything worked out, And I ended up getting this haunted house, this notorious haunted house with the failed exorcism in it, and started stabilizing it, and it's been fixing it up ever since.
Wow.
I mean, I just was down there today, and I had to cut a check for $8,000 to have the septic redone. It was kind of crazy. The job should have cost $3,000 to $4,000, and I had it all set to go. And there was I'm not going to throw out names, but there was a couple of people that stayed there on a Monday, and obviously the bathroom's not working, but I had a porta potty there. They weren't too happy with that and turned me into the county. So you know what happens not when you got to get permits and shit, right? So it went from $4,000 to $8,000 overnight. Yeah, so it was. This is the. Thank you very much. So I've been saving for it all summer. I've been doing a lot of ghost tours and a lot of overnights and things like that, and just been trying to save up for it so we could get it done. And I'm so glad we got it done before winter. I wrote on my Facebook page today, yes, no frozen dingleberries in the porta potty this winter. We can poop in heat.
We can poop in heat. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nothing like taking a good shit when it's warm.
Yeah. Well, it's the bathroom in the Hinsdale house is creepy enough because it's the bathroom is right off the door for the basement is in the bathroom. So it's always been a creep factor to go to the bathroom in that house.
Well, with all the investigations you've done, now I ran into this a couple times. I'm a big old. You remember? I'm a big old boy. Have you ever been on an investigation when you actually have to go to the bathroom and you look at it and you're like, who the hell is that damn small? Put that little potty in there, and then walls like that.
Hell yeah. There's been times where I've left the place where I've investigated and driven to a place where I could go to use a regular bathroom.
Yeah.
Because and you're doing the ass squeeze, the cheeks are squeezing, hoping a little tiny poop doesn't come out, and just racing to the bathroom to try to get in there. The things we do as investigators, we have to do what we have to do.
That's right. Or you're sitting there and you're doing an investigation, somebody's gut bubbling, and you're like, oh no, that don't sound good at all. That's a demon in you.
Why do we eat before we go to investigations? That's the other thing. It should be a strict coffee or something like that. I mean, we always go out and right before we investigate, and then we'll go to stupid places like taco joints or Italian, and it's like, what? Why aren't we thinking? We should be having salads and coffee. There better be a damn good bathroom in this location.
Well, I know when we do a pre-investigation, that's the one thing I look for when I'm looking around. They don't realize it, but I am. Gotta make sure there's a good shit. I don't care if there's 20 spirits in there. I'm about ready to blow their ass out there if I need to.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I think Melinda's got something. She's sitting there with her finger on her mouth going, are you going to shut the hell up and let me ask a question?
Well, I do.
Lynn, do you have another question?
I do. So, like Nick and Katrina from the Paranormal Lockdown, they investigated the house. And my question was, I read that the episode was the highest viewed episode of the series. I was just wondering how you felt about that.
I think that says a lot of kind of the buildup of the house and the interest in the house. And I see that everywhere I go. It's I put a picture of the Hinsdale house up behind me at a table at a convention, and people know what it is. People have seen it or heard of it, and no matter where I go, Illinois, Iowa, Colorado. I mean, it's like, okay, there's people. I've had folks from 5 different countries come to the house this year. Australia, Ireland, England, Canada. I mean, it's crazy to think about, because that show is it's not national, it's worldwide now, and it's going in different markets. And as they keep adding markets, as TLC and Destination American Discovery Network keeps adding to these locations, it piques an interest from other countries. I don't know if you guys noticed too, like on ParanormalWarehouse.com, I stream live video feed from the house, and just a few weeks ago, I was streaming it and I put it up, and I could not believe the amounts of people that were watching this. 8 to 9, 10,000 people. Watching a video screen of a living room, looking for paranormal things to happen, and by the time it was all done, 4 hours later, it reached almost 3 million people. It's just crazy to think about the interest that this place has, and even when we do an investigation, people always just are curious, and the locals, they'll just drive up just to get a look of it, and they turn around and drive away. There's people that won't even come up close to the house. My mom's a scaredy cat even. My dad's all into it. And I remember them, they drove up there the one day because they were going to Ellicottville, and my dad wanted to see it because he had never seen it before. And he got it. My mom took a picture of him standing up next to the house, and then my mom, she's in the middle of the grass, 20 feet away from the house, and she looks like she's ready to run in the picture, like she's scared. And I just remember joking with her about it, but it's amazing. It's an amazing thing, And Nick and Katrina are constantly in contact. If they find something new, or they've been back, And that's the one thing I can say about Nick. He's not in it for to do the show. He's in it for the long run. When he says he's going to do something, he does it, or he helps, and he researches it, and he continues to do it. And he's in it for the answers, and it's refreshing because, you don't know what to expect. You never know what to expect when you're dealing with TV people, So I have a lot of respect for him and what he's done. So.
How many times have they been back?
They've been back a few times. They did, if you caught the Halloween episode, the one where they went to England, that reflects upon the spirit, that this negative entity that's in the house that Nick let into his head followed him home, because it was weird. So after Nick got done filming at the house, there's a darker entity there. There's this like negative. I don't want to call it demonic, but it's definitely negative. It's got a deeper voice. It kind of takes over things, and all these other spirits that are stuck there that can't leave. They're quiet, and the only thing you hear is his voice. So when Nick and Katrina got done filming, it seemed like this darker entity wasn't around, and he started calling me, and then this thing followed him home, and he started doing like, he was using the portal in his basement, and then he was getting that same voice that was the Hinsdale house followed him home, and he asked it what I should do, and it told him to go to Pontiff. And he ended up going to England to investigate the Black Monk House. And there's some type of connection between the Hinsdale and this location in England. And he actually came back to the house again to kind of just go after it, trying to tell it to stop and leave him alone. And It was just when he did the clearing at his house, he did a clearing. Then it came back to the Hinsdale house. Then we started getting EVPs saying, "Where's Nick? Where's Nick?" So many of them. Teams were getting them. Who's this? Who's Nick? Who are they talking about? Oh, Nick Groff, probably. And it was very just kind of a compelling story. So it's still this darker thing is still there, and it still comes out. So that's why I always tell people to stay on your toes when you go there. It's not something for the faint of heart or for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. I always try to gauge where people are at before they come into the place. So it's just not. I don't want it to be treated as a joke. A lot of people think it's funny, but I don't want something bad to happen to somebody. So ultimately, I want to take care of the sucker too. I want to get rid of them.
Well, I can understand that. So what are your techniques? When you and your group are investigating. I mean, do you go into it scientific, religious, metaphysical, or spiritual based? Or what's the information you have?
All of the above. I mean, each of us are our own person, and I think everybody believes in something higher, and I think that you have to put your trust into that, whatever it is that you believe in when you go into a location, whether it be God, whether it be Buddha, whether it be, whatever you trust in. You got to have a positive outlook on what you're doing. You can't let any type of negative take over. We take scientific approach. I try to push the science to the limit. I'm very interested in new ITC stuff and how it works and how it might be able to help with what we're doing as far as trying to gather evidence. But then I'll sit back and do some old stuff. Use styrofoam, popcorn, or use, there's so many different old techniques that you can go back and fall back on and say, that's kind of interesting. That's something, that didn't work, but this worked. Or, it's just interesting to try a lot of different things. And something might work at one location that doesn't work at a different one. So I guess it's, we have a psychic on our team. And, I always think she's like my best tool. Like it's how cool is it to go into a location and then half the teams are walking around trying to find the ghost. And she's like, oh, he's sitting over in the corner over there. And we walk over there and all of a sudden we start getting, interaction, so it's cool, and I believe in her, and I've worked with her for a long time, and she helps. I think she helps the investigation, as well. So I mean, we try to use everything and appeal to whatever anybody wants to do, and what their beliefs are. So Cameron's not one to pray. I am.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
What is your favorite piece of equipment to use during an investigation?
Well, I mean, if you're talking equipment, probably just the recorder, K2 meter, basic stuff. I've started getting into a lot of the new like ITC boxes, the Frank's box, the Geo port, the Geo, all these different. I started a small collection here, just trying out different ones to see which ones work best. And I mean, there's the SBE, the Spirit Box Enhancer, that works really well. But I'd say, besides for my own senses and going into a location, just a recorder and a K2 meter, probably for me to. I could have a fun night with just those two pieces of equipment. I could go for hours asking questions and going back and seeing or listening, what we may have recovered on the recorder. And I've been doing some. Have you ever been to an investigation with Brian Cano, where he kind of does a collective conscious type of thing, right? I had him out at the Hinsdale house this summer for a couple of nights, and he performed an experiment with the group where he just placed the recorder down on the table. Everybody sat in silence for like 5 minutes, and everybody just thought of a word that we pre-thought about. We talked about it outside, and we came into the house. For 5 minutes in silence, everybody just thought that word but didn't say the word. Go back and play the recorder, and that word just pops up on the recorder. Like it's the power of the mind. It's crazy. Was it paranormal? I don't know. Was it our minds working together as a collective consciousness? Could that have something to do with how we investigate is the fact that we want something to come on that recorder. Is that happening from our mind, or is that happening from a ghost? I mean, there's a lot of thought. I put a lot of thought into it. It's like it's crazy to think about.
Yeah,
and how much our minds are unexplored too. I mean, it's crazy.
I had a guest on a while back that we talked about that maybe a lot of the EVPs we're getting is something that we're actually sitting in the dark thinking, and it's our mind that's actually producing that voice or that sound or that the words that we're searching for.
Yeah, and the fact that after he left, I performed the experiment with a couple of groups, and it was funny because I had a girl out from the newspaper around Halloween time. We were doing it, and she was there, and I didn't say please work. I didn't even know she was from the newspaper, but then the word grape came through on the recorder, and she's sitting there, and then she does this write up in the paper about it. So it was it's kind of it's all a big thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Trial and error and trying new things and just trying to come up with answers with it. It's kind of neat. It's fun.
I mean, I'd love to have all the fancy equipment. I mean, Grant, we got some, but I'm like you. I'm old school with it. I prefer a recorder, camera, and a K2. I'm good. I mean, because you can get so much with so little.
Yeah, and a lot of it's your approach, your knowledge that you have when you go into the location. I think the more knowledge that you can, there's been teams that have come and investigated with me that know nothing, and then they're disappointed because they can't get answers. But then they're asking the same questions over and over and over again. You're not exploring or diving into who might be there, or maybe touching base on something that might be hold true to them. And if you can touch into that and maybe understand or maybe touch them in a way where they want to respond, I think knowledge is power. So the more that you can learn, the better off you are going into a location.
What have you experienced with all the investigations you've had? Your name being called a lot by different, whether it be a male or female or older or younger voice, call your name or speak your name.
I have,
okay.
and a lot of it, I think that in my belief system, I've been told by so many people that I have spirits around me at all times that protect me, and sometimes I feel like that's them calling my name. And I also feel like people bring stuff with them. So like when we do a tour of the Statler Hotel in downtown Buffalo, and we're sitting in a circle with 20 people, who's not to say that there's somebody that's with them that wants to come through, as opposed to a ghost that's from the hotel? It could be something that you brought in with you. I mean, where I could have gone into my own basement and put the recorder on and got the same response that I would have got at this quote haunted location. So I mean, it's I think a lot of what we do sometimes has to do with spirits that you bring with you too.
Well, the reason why I was asking, because I get my name called about, I would say 98% of the investigations we've done, my name's been called out. And
what do you use?
What do you mean? Just regular, or
like it's an EVP?
Yeah, it's an EVP. Yeah.
Mhm.
And he'll say, "Hey Rodney," or "Hey Rod," or I even had one call me by my first name, and I'm like, "Hey, ain't no damn way," because I don't go by my first name, and I don't really tell people my first name because it's an old name, and I kind of, when I was in school, people like to make fun of it, and I like to whip their ass. But anyway. But I do get it a lot, and some people in the group kind of freaks them out. Don't freak me out; it doesn't bother me. But I guess some of them been with me for so long. They're like, I've never had my name called. Why are they always calling for you? I'm like, I don't know. I've asked the question, but I've not got a response to that.
The other thing that I've noticed too is that you may be more in tune to it. You know what I mean? You may be more in tune to what's happening. That's why maybe it's connecting with you more than it's connecting with somebody else in the group. You know what I mean? So there's a side to you that's maybe a little bit more intuitive. You've been doing this for a lot longer, and maybe it's a connection that you have with the location that you're at or the spirits there because they feel a connection with you. You know what I mean? So it just might be something simple like that, you know?
That's what I tell them. That's how I feel about it. It might be just some kind of, or someone's following me around, or some family. Say, hey, Rob.
Yeah, could be. Especially if they're calling you by your first name, and who would know that passed? I mean, it's got to be a family member, you know? It's got to be somebody that knew you.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. But the thing is where it's so many different voices, and some with different accents and stuff like that. It's then when we start running into that, I'm kind of like, I don't know who that would be. I don't recognize. There's
endless amounts of explanations too to come up with. It's all theory based. You could ask a psychic, and they may say it's somebody from a different life, or a past life, or a regression. So maybe you need to get a past life regression done.
Oh, I never thought that.
And find out about your past lives and who you may be connecting with.
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
Yeah, it might be worth your time, like to find that out, because they say that you get drawn to the people from your past lives when they're reborn. If you believe in reincarnation, I mean, or if there's any thought that there may be, it may be interesting to listen to or hear about. Doesn't hurt. It's really interesting what they come up with these regressions. So.
Okay. Melinda, you got anything you want to add or take away or something just off the top of your head?
I told you that you're more open to stuff. I mean, when I first met you, I knew it.
Oh yeah.
Your energy.
I mean, I picked that up right away with him. Time I ever saw him, he's definitely.
Me too. That's what I told him. I was like, your energy is so strong. He doesn't realize it though. He doesn't realize how in tune he is.
I just always thought I'm just an open type person. I like to, I'm friendly. Hey, how you doing? I like to sit and learn about people and learn about, their experiences.
But see, the more open-minded you are, the more that, things are going to happen because you're not so judgmental and you're open to listening.
You know what it is? It's more of a and I know I'm using it, but it's more of a clairvoyance for him. He likes to sit back and soak it all in. And sometimes it's because that's the way he reacts to everything. It takes a lot to piss you off. It's because you listen and you soak it in and you try to respond in the right way for everything that you do. I think it's more of a clairvoyant type situation for him.
Wow.
Do you ever have like vivid dreams? Do you ever have like
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you ever think about something that had happened?
Yes, I've had that happen many times.
So that might be it. Maybe that might be something you want to explore if you're interested in it. If there's any psychics that you've worked with that you feel comfortable with talking to. I mean, or even get a book on it. It's very interesting.
I think I got a good guide right here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, then start listening.
I know.
Kick them in the butt, huh?
I do tell them that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's.
Well, I appreciate that. That's some good insight from a stranger. Well, he's not really a stranger. I mean, I met him. If I met somebody, they're never a stranger. But.
My next question is, have you ever been physically, emotionally, spiritually attacked by an entity? And if so, explain.
Wow.
I haven't, but I haven't been. I've had like scratches before, but I don't believe it's ever intended to be malicious towards me. It was a way of getting me to acknowledge that something was there. but nothing really bad. I've been on a lot of cases where I've seen it happen to other people. I've also seen it at the Hinsdale house where this darker entity kind of overtook one of my tour guides that we had to deal with. But I honestly, I don't know why, because I've seen it happen to so many other people. I've never had a thing where anything's come home with me, and I think a lot of it has to go into my belief system and the way I approach things. You know, it's I know it's crazy to think about, but it's never happened to me, which I think is good, and I'm going to keep praying that stays that way.
I've never, well, a long time ago, but that's before I did this. Well, what is your opinion? Because it's something I like to ask all people that's in the paranormal field. What is your opinion on what a demon is, and have you ever encountered what you might think would be or has been classified as a demonic spirit or presence?
Well, there's demons in every religion, and every religion has a different way of trying to take care of it. But I've honestly, in all the years I've been doing this, there's only been a couple of times where I felt like this is something I'm not dealing with. You know, I've gone in there, assessed what the issues were, and I'm like, you know, I got to call somebody else in for this because I'm not prepared mentally to deal with this. And it definitely takes, when you're dealing with something like that, it can kind of gauge a war against you. Because we went into this one house in Niagara Falls, and all of a sudden shit started happening to all of our team members. And you can call it a coincidence, but you can also you could also look back and think what's ever in this house knows we're coming to try to help this girl, you know, and it was kind of coming after us a little bit and trying to bring our hope, you know, get us upset, trying to turn us against each other. And it wasn't something that, you know, we all kind of had a meeting, and we did want to help, but we didn't know what we needed to do. You know, it wasn't something that we were prepared to deal with. And so at that point, we went with what we learned on the girl, what her belief systems were, and we had called in a priest, a Catholic priest that does exorcisms, and he brought his team there, and I was in the house. I was in the house when he was doing his thing, and it was like the girl levitated off the couch. She started convulsing. She was throwing up. There was a dog that was like 17, 18 years old, just an old dog, didn't move. It sat there the whole time, didn't bark when I came in. And when he started doing his thing, this dog got up like a puppy and started prancing around and barking like it was it was just kind of the weirdest thing I've ever been involved with. So it's I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but it's that you're asking me what I think a demon is, and I just think I think they're out there, and but I don't think it's something that you deal with all the time, you know. Every now and then you're going to come across something. And, you know, in the 8-9 years I've been doing this, it's only been the one time for me. And I've been to a lot of places, you know. There's definitely spirits that are assholes, you know, spirits that are bastards. And just like you deal with on any normal day life, you know, they're going to, you know, you go in asking stupid questions, they might call you a stupid fucker, you know, and you know, you're going to call that a demon. A lot of the calls I get is, I think we have a demon in our house, and it's like, oh no, that's Grandpa Jack telling you're stupid for doing this or whatever. Or, you know, it's like, it's amazing. It's amazing. So, you know, this one investigation we did, we got called in because of quote unquote demons in the house, right? And we got there and things were happening, like lights being turned on and off, doors being opened. I mean, that was demonic to them because they were scared. That was scaring them. And the husband was very like, oh, this is crap, but he was just appeasing his wife and the kids because he wanted to get his kid out of his bed, you know, because the kid wouldn't stay in his bedroom anymore. And we ended up we were going around the house and trying to get evidence, and we started getting some EVPs asking questions. And the name that when we asked who is this, who's causing this grief to the family, the name Dallas came out, and then a couple other things that said it was family. So we went and quickly sat down the family at the table and played the recordings, and the lady looked at us in awe, and then the husband, we looked over at the husband sitting down at the end of the table, and he's bawling his eyes out. And I said, well, what's going on here? This is the skeptic guy, the guy that doesn't believe in this, and he's like, that's my dad's voice, and my dad's name is Dallas. And I'm like, holy shit, like this is his father trying to let them know that he's around and he's here. And once the little son that was scared to sleep in his bedroom, he went with us on, to do some more EVPs, and he started asking questions. Grandpa, is that you? And the K2 meter went off. Grandpa, are you here to protect us? The K2 meter went off. And the son, or the little boy, we ended up cleaning up his room, setting his bed back up, and he slept in his bedroom for the first time. And it was just once they acknowledged him, it was like everything died off. It was just really compelling, to be able to help a family like that. But that was that we were called in for demonic for that. That was considered demonic to that family, because there's people are scared of the unknown, and when something weird happens, it's automatically a demon. But no, not very, very, very rarely. Now I do think that I could show you some pictures or send them to you, but there's this location in New York called the Van Horn Mansion, and when we went in there to investigate, they said that there was demons in the house, and they had done a banishing to the mirrors, right? So a lot of our investigation focused on the mirrors. They had hundreds of mirrors throughout the whole building, and we caught some of these I don't know what they are. They look like little trolls in the reflection of the mirror, but there was nothing in the mirror. Like nothing to reflect in the mirror, but something looking back at us in the mirror in the pictures that we took. And you can see an eye, you can see ears, you can see an arm, you can see legs, and then it was in more than one mirror, not just one, but numerous throughout the whole building that we were catching this, whatever it is in the mirrors. In the one, it looks like it's trying to put his hands up against the mirror for us. Like if we would have touched it, maybe would we have released it? I don't know. I'm glad we didn't. Like you see in like the horror movies where you put your hands up against the mirror and then all of a sudden you're on the other side of it, type of thing. It was just that's kind of what it looked like it's in a different dimension looking through to us through this mirror or something. It's really freaky.
Well, I think what's freaky is that I dreamt of a Van Horn home in New York.
Did you really?
And I dreamt it like 2 months ago, and when you said it, it just popped back in my head. I don't know, I can't tell you much about what I remember seeing. I just remember that one of my people in my group was like, "We got to go to this Van Horn home." And it's in New York.
Yeah, the Melinda, the spirit or the body of the wife is buried on the property, and the rest of the family left, and it's just a really sad story, but it's an amazing location, well preserved, and it's really cool. I would recommend going there. We've actually, and they have it's owned by the Historical Society of Newfane. And they have some like historical items that were given that they store in the basement. And you go in the basement, and there's this old saddle from the early 1800s that's enclosed in glass. And in the reflection of the glass, we also caught that creature. And wow. They have all the pictures there. And it's the same face that we caught on the second floor in Melinda's room in the mirror. It's just kind of creep factor there,
Yeah. Do you think that could be like maybe something from like maybe a mirrored universe or a parallel universe that might be trying to get through a mirror glass thing? I don't know. That's kind of weird. I don't know how.
Sounds like a good theory to me.
I mean, it
just as good as any other theory anybody else comes up with. I mean, it's who knows? Who knows at this point? I just know that we have pictures of it.
That's awesome. Well, are there any teams or individuals in the paranormal that that paranormal field that has been inspirational to you, since you started, or have there been any that's kind of left you going, they're not who I thought they were?
I've not come across somebody where I've been disappointed to meet them, but there has been people that I've met along the road that I'm really grown to respect. Like, I don't know, are you familiar with Jeff Fent?
Yes.
He's from Columbus, Ohio. Man, I have so much respect for that guy. Some of the stuff he's done and some of the passion that he has with his woodwork and preserving things, and he's. I remember the first time I met him, I was at the Randolph County Infirmary, and he had a geobox and I had a geobox, and it was like the first time that you ever had two boxes together in the same room or together. It was just kind of a neat thing because they're scarce. Not a lot of people have them. And we were performing experiments back and forth. He went up to the second floor. I was on the first floor, and we had like a little list of questions that we were trying to tell the spirits to go upstairs and say into the box to tell Jeff, and vice versa, and it worked. The questions that I had on my paper, I said, go tell Jeff this, and they were getting answered upstairs on his box. And then the same, like I would say my favorite color, tell him to say my favorite color is green. All of a sudden, green started coming through on my box. It was like just a really kind of a cool experiment. But then to get to know the guy even more, like he was very passionate about that this location called the Emmett House that burned down, and he's preserved some of the wood, even the burn wood, and made spirit box casings out of them, which is really cool. I'm gonna sit here and tell the whole Jeff Fent life story, but he's a guy that I really looked up to, and I think he's smart, and he does a great job for the things for the paranormal field. Another guy that I really look up to is I don't know if you ever met him, Tim Shaw. He's kind of the guy that kind of got me on the pathway that I'm on today. He gave me some great advice. He steered me in the right direction as far as the Hinsdale House and writing a book and just kind of the pathway that I'm on today. Where I can go talk to people and go to events and spread the word on what I'm doing. And he was kind of an influential member as well, a person that I met, and I can call him up to this day and just shoot the shit with him and kind of tell him how I feel, and he'll tell me what he thinks, and it's just really cool. Nick, of course, you don't know if you have. I didn't know that I would have respect for him until I met him, because not a lot of people get a chance to investigate with him, let alone hang out with him. Just to see the passion that he has for what he's doing and what he's trying to, push these boundaries with the field, And if you've noticed, since Paranormal Lockdown come out, a lot of equipment's been changing, because a lot of things are getting pushed to the limits, and people are coming up with new ideas and inventing things, and I think it's great because for a while there it just seemed like we were stuck with the SB7, the K2 meter, and the same old stuff for years, and probably within the past 2-3 years you've been seeing an influx of new stuff coming out. Even Jeremy at Paranologies with his 360s, I think those are ingenious, and we use them in a lot of our investigations with the static electricity. It's crazy to think about, but it's it's cool that he's coming up with these different theories and different inventions, and I like the way the field's going, and I also like the way like when I first got in the field, it seemed kind of, and I remember getting warned, it's cutthroat, people don't get along, don't step on people's toes, and I feel it changing. Like I feel like when I go to an event and I meet people like you even, like we're working together. We're all on the same page. We're all kind of doing this together now, and I'm not going to shut somebody down that wants to come into the field. If they need information, hell, come on an investigation with us. Come and check it out. Come and see what we do and see if it's something that you like. And I think that the field's growing in personality-wise. And I'm hoping that it'll continue that trend where everybody can work together and it's not all, oh, I caught this piece of evidence, but no, you can't see it or share it. Like I want that all to be out there, and I think everybody should share everything that they get because knowledge is power. And the more that you have, the more, and the next team's going to be able to get, and then the next team's going to be able to get as they come into these locations. For so long, it's been, your team went in, okay, they shut their doors. Next week, team comes in, ask the same questions over again. But if that team would have EVP or that picture that was taken knew where the hot spots were, or was it, it could change the way we do things. And I feel like it's kind of getting there. I think it will. I honestly think it will. I think there's a lot of people working towards the betterment of the field, and the ones that are assholes are going to sit on the bench. It's not enough room for drama.
Yeah,
you're either in it for the right reasons or you're an asshole. That's the way I look at it.
I agree. Here.
Well, you guys have a way of just getting me just to go on tangents. I don't even know if that was the question that you asked, but hey, I just get, when I start talking about a subject and I get passionate about it, I'm like, boom, there I go.
That's what.
Was that the question that they asked?
That's what I love about my show. My guests, normally you just drop 3 or 4 questions, and then I just sit back and go, wow, I am learning so much. I mean, I really do. I've learned so much from each guest. And then there's some guests, you kind of have to force, which I've only had like 2 or 3, but I've had to go, ask a question like, do you believe in ghosts? Yes. Could you give me a reason why? Yes, because I've seen one on camera. Where? A house.
All right, that took care of 3 minutes. We still got another hour and 20 minutes to go here.
You're like, oh my God, this is going to be forever.
Thank God for co-hosts.
That's exactly right.
Sometimes I don't know what I'd do without my co-host, because I know if we do have a guest like that, we can always play off each other or get some type of banter going back and forth where we can fill the time and at least get people laughing or something going on, because it's I know what you're talking about. it's happened before, so.
Yeah, but too bad Robin ain't here. You get to listen to that West Virginia. Hey, y'all. You met her, too, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She had to work late, and I thought she was going to pop on, but I guess she still had to work. But, I got me another co-host. I got Robin and Melinda, and I know when we went to St. Albans for an event and for the Vibe Network, here I show up with Robin and Melinda, and all the other hosts were like, how the hell do you get 2 hotties and, I'm stuck with this asshole? I don't know. I just got that way about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
That's right. I walk in, I'm like a 1980s Ric Flair wrestler. I come in with my velvet robe on, my little fluffy, what do you call that damn thing wraps around her neck?
Wait, did you just compare yourself to Ric Flair? You got to give me one of those woo. Then if you're Ric Flair, I got to hear it.
I used to all the time when I played volleyball, man. I used to kick ass, and I'd be walking out there strutting. Woo! What y'all think? What y'all gonna do when the rod runs over you?
That's a Hulkster. That's a Hulkster reference.
Well, see, I mixed them all in together. I come running like the Ultimate Warrior.
You're like the Super Warrior, the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good.
You'd be flexing and then cutting somebody's hair like Brutus Beefcake.
There you go. You come in there with a 2x4, pointing it at him. Yeah.
There you go. Oh, I got to meet him. He's pretty cool. A couple years ago. Good old hats on with his 2x4.
Yep. I met a bunch of them back in the 90s when I was working in Roanoke. K92, the radio station there, I'd done their printing, so they gave me free tickets to everything. And I'd go watch the wrestling matches, and I got to hang out with Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard. I got to get drunk with them and get some of their, their illegal stuff. Them boys can party.
Oh, they sure can. And Ric Flair's the worst because I used to. I don't know. I don't reckon he'd probably be listening to the show, but he's the type of person that acts like he knows you. Like he acts like he remembers everything, and But he's not the one that ever wants to pay the bill. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
And have women around him, but yeah, they're all there. I remember Big Show coming in the nightclub. He needed 2 seats, and he was having porterhouse steaks for breakfast.
God.
2 of them, 2 36-ounce porterhouse steaks. You start your day off like that. Holy crap, huh?
Damn. God. I can barely eat 2 scrambled eggs for breakfast. Oh. And I'm not
a breakfast person. Just give me my coffee.
I'm with you there. Sugar, some sugar and some. I'm good to go. I don't like mine black. I like mine tan. Okay, you go ahead.
Well, I like mine.
I'm sitting here just rambling. Linda's looking at me like, "Will you shut the fuck up so I can ask a question?"
I am not.
She is.
Lynn's like, "Oh, great. Now we got to talk wrestling with these 2 guys. What the hell am I doing here?" What's the name of the show again? It's Chaos, right? So it's an organized chaos tonight.
That's right. Ain't too many shows I had. It ain't been a fucking chaos. One show I had, Robin actually stuck her fucking foot in her mouth with a comedian. He's a political comedian at that. And I was like, oh my God. I just sat back and watched that train wreck. I wasn't that I could do for it. She just kept. And I'm like, Robin, please shut up. He's eating you alive. But no, she couldn't. Because it had to do something about the KKK and the Black Lives Matter were the same kind of groups of people, and that dude went off on her, and I'm just like, boy, bitch, you jumped right into that shit. Well, I'm sorry.
Hey,
no,
Lynn.
I'm getting off.
Lynn, you there still?
Yes, I'm here.
I got a question for you. How do you feel? You've seen all the news about Zach Bagans touching the Annabelle doll. What's your take on that? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, have you seen it?
I haven't seen that actually.
So they brought Tony Spera brought the Annabelle doll out of the location that it sat for so many years for them to investigate on an episode. Flew it in, and the only instructions were to Zach is to not touch the doll. What do you think he did?
He touched it.
He touched the doll, and then Tony took it away. Tony's stated he's not mad at Zach for doing it, and Zach's trying to say that something overtook him, that he couldn't control himself. And I don't know. It pisses me off a little bit that it happened, that he did that. Whether you can control yourself or not, you're an adult, right? And I don't know what's your take on it, that he did that.
I mean, it's disrespectful. I mean,
this is one of the most demonic doll. This is supposed to have this demonic attachment to it, right? And it's been sitting encapsulated for so many years.
I mean, arrogance can get you in a lot of trouble.
Well, Zach is an arrogant motherfucker. I'll say it.
He's
arrogant. Now, Nick, I have respect for him. Aaron, have respect for him. But, damn, come on. Zach is nothing but just a glory ham, just pushing the envelope. And I've seen so much on those shows where he's just I feel so disrespectful. I mean, you've got to be, in my opinion, I feel like we need to go into a location showing some fucking respect. And by touching the doll, even though the doll, he's do not touch it.
Are they the group that just saw Loretta Lynn?
I think so.
Because she told them not to touch certain things, and they moved some stuff. And
it may have been. It's Ghost Adventures who they are.
Right.
Or were.
Right. I think they're the ones that she don't let people come back no more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rodney, you being on a team, you having your team of people. So if you went into a location and you noticed for 1 second that perhaps one of your teammates was not right, or possibly not in the right frame of mind, would you allow them to keep investigating?
No, I take them out. I've even took myself
So
out.
why didn't that happen with Zach if supposedly he was not, something else was steering him to do this and he was being taken over, but somebody just continued to film him doing it? Like,
what?
Come on. If one of my best friends or one of my teammates was being overtaken and they didn't seem like themselves, I would drag them by their neck outside or out of the location to try to help them, try to snap them out of it.
Well, see, there's
just,
one here in Tazewell that I was actually sitting with everybody. We had quite a few people there, and I had them spread out. So I was just kind of floating around, going to each two-man group, and I love these people. I would never even think of harming them. Only way I would is if they're trying to harm me or someone else. But, we're just sitting there having a discussion, and all of a sudden I start having flashes in my head of snapping one girl's neck and picking up a stick of wood and bashing the other guy's head in. And I'm like, what the hell? So I went outside to get away from it. I'm like, what in the world was that? I was out there for about half an hour, and I come back in, and then I started with another team, and then I started having, these feelings of hurting them too. And I'm like, something ain't right. And, I took myself out of the investigation.
Yeah. If you're Zach Bagans, I guess his theory would have been to pick up the board and bash the guy in the head. And that's okay because it wasn't him thinking it, right?
Right. Yeah. Because he's Zach Bagans.
I don't know. It just kind of pissed me off. I don't accept the explanation. I know Tony said that he's okay with Zach and everything's good, but I think it just brings a mockery to the field, and when people are trying to change things and change things for the better, you got that happening, and it's like, and all the Zach Bagan fans will stick up for him, but those that are involved with the field, I get it, I understand, but sometimes you got to know when to pull yourself out, whether it's for TV or not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to be professional too. I mean, it ain't all about you.
No. Okay. I mean, you got to look out for me. Sometimes I go in and I get sick. I mean, really sick and drained. Robin, definitely. She's always looking out for me. Like when we went to St. Albans, I got so sick because she pulled me outside. Said, "You're done."
Yeah. See, that's the way a team should operate. You look out for each other. But
no.
But
let's just film you and watch you puke or something, or I don't know. It's just.
I wouldn't do that. Because that's if she's sick, if somebody stuck a camera in her face, I'd smack it out of their hand. I'd be like, no,
exactly.
You ain't doing it. I don't put up with that shit. I know I catch a lot of slack, from this area because they're not as accepting of the paranormal group in this area, except you go 30 miles out of this town, they do, but not in this town. And that was a question I was going to ask you. Are the people in your area, really accepting of what you're doing there with the Hinsdale house? And
oh my God, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, at first it was a little bit difficult, but as the TV show came out, as lockdown came out, and as I wrote my book, and then I started, the county reached out to me, and they've been helping. I mean, they've been helping me with promotions. They've been helping me with getting to local community events where I can speak to people in the community. And it's so cool because, everybody in the town of Hinsdale, it's a small little community, Cattaraugus County, New York, and everybody's got their story about how they knew the Dandy family, or they knew that something had happened, or you get to hear about this little pathway where this guy used to walk over to the house through the woods. Or I mean, it's just listening to the stories are amazing, what the locals are talking about, and then to become accepted and part of the local community, as a accepted part of their community, and it's put Hinsdale on the map. It's put the town of Hinsdale on the map. And it's been a struggle. Like I said, it was a struggle at the beginning. I remember probably within the first 6 months of me owning it, I got a message from one of the neighbors down the hill that if he ever saw me, he was going to shoot me. And that's kind of threatening, but but it stemmed from somebody that was coming up there, going to his grandmother's house and upsetting her. You know that, and because they made a wrong turn, they went down the wrong road. You know, so I reached out to him and talked to him, and I think a lot of when people are angry, you have to confront that. You have to talk about it and get it worked out. And I wasn't scared, but it was kind of freaky because it's I'm a city guy, and this is a big country, big old country area where people go there to get away from the city. So to bring in carloads of people up this hill can be disturbing to some of the locals, you know. So you have to be able to respect them, and you have to work with them, and you have to try to be compassionate to what they're dealing with, because they don't want shitloads of people coming up this hill. But you know that it is what it is, you know. So we've worked with them. We put up signs. Cattaraugus County actually repaved the whole mountain. It used to be a dirt road going up this mountain. We actually repaved it all the way to the house. It's crazy, like some of what they've done to try to help with the promotion of it. And that neighbor now talked. You know, he's actually made stickers for me. I've sponsored his race car, and he's a lookout now. Now he lives down the hill. But if I catch on the camera that there's a flashlight in the window and nobody's supposed to be there, I call him up. I'm like, Rich. I'm like, yo, there's somebody at the house and nobody's supposed to be there. I'm on my way. You know, he goes up there, and he's caught kids up there that have been bullshitting them, saying they lost their phone in the woods, or, you know, so he's acts as my protector now. You know, he protects it, and I've actually had his family up there and done some tours, and they go fishing up in my pond, and they keep an eye out for it. And it took a while, you know, but you gotta earn respect. You can't demand it, and it's amazing how they've embraced it. You know, I've never been in a situation in Hinsdale where somebody doesn't want to sit and talk about it or tell me a story about it. Or nobody's ever come up to me and said you're an idiot for believing in ghosts, or like they all have. There's all these stories, and it's embracing. And all right, this summer I was involved with the Hinsdale Horseradish Festival. It's a little local festival, and I got put right out in the front, like on a pedestal. And as people were walking in, they could come in and talk to me, and I learned a lot. You know, I met some pretty cool people, and I didn't know that there was so many people in Hinsdale. There was a lot of them, and it was and they got some pretty mean horseradish too.
Oh, that's good.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But it's neat that in the Cattaraugus County, the tourism boards actually had me out to the legislature chambers to talk. You know, talk about tourism. Talk about, because it's bringing people in. Like I said, they have people coming in from 5 different countries. There's people coming from all different states. A lot will stay overnight. Some just come and will investigate and stay in a hotel. But it's bringing in tourism dollars to the Cattaraugus County, and now having a second location, the Wildwood Sanitarium, which is 20 minutes down the road. Now we're starting to market those two together. So now the teams can come in, investigate the Hinsdale House Friday night or Saturday night, and explore Cattaraugus County, and then the second night to an old sanitarium, or Rolling Hills Asylum, or there's numerous locations within the county now that they feel like, this is part of, we want to help this now because it's bringing people here. And they've put pamphlets out in all the New York State truck stops and all called the Haunted History Trail of New York State, and they've included us in that, and it's just really awesome. You know, to think where I was 2.5 years ago, and where it is today. You know, how much improvement there's been to the house, and just how much of a buzz there is about it. You know, so it's pretty cool.
Well, you know, we try that here in a town called Pocahontas, and I mean, we worked there, many of the buildings and stuff, for 8 years, 9 years, and I mean, I constantly kept getting, the mayor of the town, each mayor I dealt with liked the idea of what we was trying to do to help, because I mean, it's a dead town, deader than shit. and the buildings had some really great history, had some really great paranormal events going on in them, and we were drawing some crowds in last year. I mean, the largest crowd we brought in. And granted, it may not be nothing like what you done, but we when we first started, like 6 years ago, we had 6 people show up, and then last year we had 189. So it grew each year, and well, they seen that 189 people were interested, and then they kicked me out. They kicked me out of my office up there that they helped had me set up. They kicked me off the historic Pocahontas Society that they have up there. As a board member, they said that they didn't need me no more and get out. I was like, what? And so I did what they said, and I couldn't believe all them years of all the work we did, to try to help with some terrorism. We start bringing it in, and then they just took it over.
Wow, that's too bad.
I know, it was a good kick in the nuts, but I learned from it, and now I'm working with another lady, Rhonda Claudel, that has the Nickerson Sneed home down in Glade Springs. And that house we've investigated a couple of times, and it's got some serious activity, some good, not nothing evil, not nothing like that. It's got a lot of different type of female or male or sounds of guns, because it was a military hospital back during the Civil War. So we got our foot into something else.
Yeah. Well, I see in my travels, it seems like it's getting embraced in a lot of different areas, and it's emanated to some of the events that are happening. Like I know we've been to some events, where not a lot of people show up, or people, you just never know what's going to happen. But there's amazing events that are happening, like New Jersey Para-Unity Expo that John Ruggiero puts on. I mean, he's the county, or I'm sorry, the township is embraced him. They're having him to do he does a TV show on local broadcasting about ghost hunting, and they've just embraced him for these psychic fairs and this Para-Unity Expo that he does every year. And it was such an amazing event with so many people, thousands. I mean, it's just it's nice to see what can happen when you get embraced. Even up in Michigan, I've been to different events in Michigan. The Michigan Paracon up in Sault Ste. Marie was just outstanding. It was like I was family, and I had never been there yet. And everybody just embraced you, and it was like a big family, and everybody hung out and talked, and the celebrities did the same thing, and you're just sitting in the bar, and you're sitting next to Nick Groff and having a beer, and you're talking to him. That's how it was. And then in the Mid Michigan Paracon in Flint, it was a first time event, and I see, like, when people are passionate about things and the communities around you support it, good things can happen. Really good things can happen as far as having these events and getting the word out about them. So it's pretty cool. Iowa, even crazy. This past week, that when I was in Iowa, it was just it was a psychic paranormal convention. It was at an arena. It was held at an arena, and then the night before, who would have thought, like, little old me and Chris Sutton would sell out a ghost hunt with people from Iowa. Yeah. It's very humbling, and anytime I did a talk on at the event on Saturday, standing room only. Sunday, and I thought, one day is really good, the next day is bad. No, just as busy, if not busier, and standing room only. Again, I was like, holy crap, this is crazy. And then I got invited back for 4 more events, which is just crazy to me. Like, it's awesome. So
yeah, it is awesome. I mean, I enjoy when people invite us to events and stuff. But I tell you what, it seems like some of the events we've been invited to, there's always another group there, and they're trying to, do that, I'm better than you shit. And I'm like, I don't even deal with that. You do your thing, I do my thing. If you want to talk, you want to work together, I'm more than happy to share. Here you go. But if you, I'm not into that. I'm not. Drama, don't want it.
Yeah, no. See, and for me, I guess I have a different view on it. Like I've done the whole, this is my group thing, and then of course I have the haunted locations. So, when there's groups there, you can cater to those groups and getting them to come to investigate the house. So it's a win-win for me, like being at these things for sure. Even if nobody shows up and there's 10 paranormal groups, I can get 2 of those to come out to the house. Perfect. That's great. So it's
we're
good.
Gonna have to work,
they're all good.
We're gonna have to work something out where we can come up this year.
Do a weekend.
Yeah, that's what I know. That's what we discussed last time I talked to you, and I brought up to our group last year, and where we was so busy with when we done that haunted tour in Pocahontas. I mean, that took up. Oh my God, that took up a lot of our time. But we're kind of open now. we ain't got nothing like that to do really right now, so we work something out and get up there and. Because when I told Melinda about, and she's done some homework on you, she's like, I said, yeah, he invited us up because she's new to the team. She's been here, a little over a year. And I told her that you invited us up. And she's like, and why haven't we went? I'm like, well, because one, we've been busy yet, and 2, he lives in New York. And we're in Virginia.
Come on. The van will make it up. Everybody pile in the van.
Everybody loves the van.
And oh, yeah. I remember seeing that parked at the hotel, the big beast parked in the front of the hotel when I first got there.
You know what's funny about my van? When we are taking long trips where I guess the seats are really comfortable, whoever, I'm going to ride shotgun, Rod, and I'll sit up here with you and we'll shoot the shit all the way up. 30 miles down the road, everybody's back there. I'm like, what the fuck? These seats are too comfortable, man. You're killing us. Oh, fuck you. Well, what about Ouija boards? Do you use them? What are your thoughts about them? I mean, good, bad?
I don't have a problem with them if you know what you're doing. I don't use them personally. I think that... and I know Tim Shaw would kind of shoot me for saying this, but my personal belief with them is, yes, it's a way to communicate with the other side, but you're invoking something to take over your body, to move, you're invoking it to touch you and to allow you to move your hands around to these letters, and I don't feel comfortable with that. It's not something I've ever felt comfortable with. I don't have a problem with them. Some people know how to use them properly and can turn it on and turn it off and cleanse everybody that uses the board. And, it's interesting, but I don't have, I don't think there's anything different than me doing an EVP recording than getting an answer than you would with using a Ouija board if it works, it's not something I personally would like to do, but if you know what you're doing, I would allow you to use it in front of me. Or on a tour or something like that. So I know Tim's done it at the Hinsdale house. The kids that lived there in the 70s used one, and the statue of Mary came flying off the pedestal or the shelf it was on and smashed to the ground when they were using it. Kind of makes me think back then, if they didn't know what they were doing, maybe that opened a door to something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's possible. Well, here's a question I ask every guest. Have you had any experiences other than paranormal, such as, crypto or any UFO encounters?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was in June. Now, it's funny because Clara Dandy, who lived in the house in the 70s, writes about her, because she wrote a book called Echoes of a Haunting. And she writes in her book about these UFOs that she's seen out the windows. And I was just got done doing a tour, and there was just a couple of us left there that were help running the tour, and all the guests have left. And I'm just chilling by the fire in the back. And I don't know if you're in the country or what, but you know the difference between a country sky and a city sky, where you can see just the unbelievable amount of stars and whatnot, and it's just gorgeous. You could just fall in love with it. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just looking up at the sky, and I'm just in awe at it because it's just so beautiful. And I see it's like a light, and it shines down, and I don't know, it does like the zigzag formation, right? Mm-hmm. And and then it just stops, and then this other one comes zooming in, like it's communicating with it, and then they kind of did the same formation in the sky together, and then they stopped, and then they zoomed and they were gone. It was like, it wasn't like a laser light. There was no way to project those up onto the sky. It seemed like something very unexplainable to me, as far as like a possible UFO goes. I don't know. I've been looking at the ley lines of the Hinsdale house as well. Like, it's got an underground spring that feeds the pond. It's got, I'm looking at the ley lines that I have marked down. It's like on a power grid. It seems like it's on a power grid because in parallel with Erie, Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh. I don't know. I'm trying to look into everything that could possibly give this much energy to what's going on there. Now, this past summer, we had like Brian Seach out from Cryptozoology Center in Pennsylvania, and we had kind of a camping event going on at the Hinsdale House where a select few people could camp for overnight or over the weekend. And they did some, I got to first time do what they do as far as like Bigfoot hunting. Now, I don't know, there's been some sightings up there. I've never seen anything with my own eye. There's been some casting of feet, up there where they actually got the casts of a Bigfoot. There was a guy by the name of Mike Page, and some of the group were going up to where the hanging tree was. And it's up the hill to the right, and all of a sudden you hear this big like a crackling sound, like a tree was falling over, like a tree got pushed over, a live tree got pushed over, and now Mike's got to be like 350, 375, and you've never seen a man run so fast, like this guy's screaming, and then the women are just walking behind him, looking at each other like this guy's running but I don't know if that had anything to do with Bigfooting or they were doing tree knocking and calls and all that stuff. But it was an interesting weekend, because they explored UFO, we explored that and paranormal as well, all in one. They kind of intertwine together, It's all about it's interesting.
I really think they all intertwine.
I tend to lead more towards the UFO type stuff. I'm more interested in that than Bigfoot, but it's still very interesting to me.
Well, reason why I kind of think the UFO phenomenon ties in with the paranormal is a couple cases we had. One, we was on an investigation. One of the guys were outside smoking, and we looked up and we seen lights we couldn't explain. And then another investigation, we were in the woods, and we caught, while me and Mike were walking, you hear the leaves crackling and sticks breaking and so forth. Then you hear, for like 20 seconds, it sounds like we're in a huge-ass warehouse walking on a catwalk, because you could hear the metal as we're walking, the ding, 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 and you could hear the massive echo. And you could actually, when we're talking, you could hear us echoing out like we was on some kind of big hangar or something. And, when I called Mike up, I said, you go listen to this shit. Did something happen to us? Did you feel anything? Or, remember anything? He's like, no, why? And he listened to it, and he's like, what the hell? What did we walk through? I'm like, I have no idea, but I didn't see it. I didn't feel it. I didn't smell it. And I don't know what it was. But, I honestly think when we went through whatever that was, they got to be something that the paranormal and UFOs and maybe even crypto are all tied in together somehow.
Yeah, no, it's definitely could be. Definitely could be.
Yeah.
Definitely, I've leaned that way from, just thinking about like the past too. If you think of even about ancient history, the Egyptians and the Greeks and what were they able to accomplish with primitive tools, like they had to have had some help from somewhere. These temples that they built were lined in limestone that wasn't even indicative to the area in which they were being, polished, and the polish that they used was coming from things that weren't even available in that. It's just like there's so many unanswered questions, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I agree, and that's one thing that another theory I have, that maybe a lot of these spirits we think is spirits, that maybe a thin membrane in the universe, that parallel universes, they're seeing us as a ghost and hearing us as a ghost, and we're thinking they're a ghost.
True.
I mean,
definitely. I mean, there's a psychic that tells me that the heaven's 2 feet off the Earth's surface. Just in a different it's interesting theory, right? Like, yeah. Okay, so we're getting EVPs, or sometimes when you use these new ITC devices, it sounds like you're tuning into somebody's conversation. They're talking. Like, do they even know that we're listening? It's interesting to think about.
Oh, it is. It's mind-boggling. All the theories, and that's one thing with a lot of the people at these events and conventions and stuff I've been to. Listen to everybody's own theories, and they kind of tie into maybe something that you're theorizing, and it's like we're on to something. It's just putting the puzzle together, putting the pieces in the right place. Something big is going to happen with that, and then we're all going to be sitting back going, "Well, damn, that was easy." Well, shit.
Yeah.
Well, since we're about running out of time, what's plans for you for the rest of 2017? I know you said you was going to take December off, so what you got going on in 2018?
I have 2017. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to probably do a couple of private investigations and finish writing my book, and then January in Rochester, New York, I'm going to be going to do a lecture at a Winter Parafest. It's in Henrietta, New York, close to Rochester. And then I have an event in, I have a bunch of events booked up. If you go to danielklaes.com, you can look at my events calendar and see where I'm going to be. I know in April, I'm going to actually get to go to California to the USS Hornet and investigate with the Nick Groff tour. So I'll be actually helping that out with Amy Allen and Nick and a couple other people that haven't been announced yet. But that's going to be an amazing weekend. I'm going to be in April. I'll be back in Iowa. In May, I'm going back to Iowa again. May also, I'll be in New Jersey for Para-Unity Expo. But yeah, I mean, everything, all my events, all my radio gigs, anything I got going on personally is on my webpage, danielklaes.com. You can book me through there if you want me to come to an event and talk or whatever. If there's a location you want me to come to or bring my team, shoot me a message on the page and check it out.
That sounds good, bud. Well, but I'll let you go, and I appreciate you coming on the show. I've enjoyed it and reconnecting.
Yeah, this has
with
been fun.
I
told you at the beginning this was going to be fun.
Oh, that's always
one of the good ones.
If I don't have fun, then there's something wrong with my show. I gotta fix something, man. Something gross. But Daniel, like I said, man, I do appreciate it, and like I said, I'll get in contact with you and see if we can set up something where we can come up this probably summer. Yeah, I know y'all snow.
Yeah.
So, I ain't coming up there. No, not in the winter. No.
Yeah, it's definitely in snow country.
Well, bud, I'll let you go. And like I said, I appreciate you coming on the show and have nothing but respect for you, man, and everything you're doing. I love it. And I always keep eyeballing everybody. Might learn something from y'all, which I learned a lot from y'all.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on and letting me yap for a while. It was fun. So.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. It was fun. And you have a good Christmas and a Happy New Year or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa
Christmas.
Or holiday or
I do the Christmas thing.
Well, see, I got to make sure because seeing how everything
Merry Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas. He's like, shut the hell up, Rodney. Let me go. Well, Dad, you have a good night, bud. I appreciate it.
You too. All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Well, that's it for us tonight. I want to thank Daniel Klaes for coming on the show and thank everyone who took the time to listen in. I'd like to give a big shout out to the Vibe Radio Network and to Holly and Ryan for putting up with my ass and the rest of us now, Robin and Melinda and whoever else wants to join on. This ship's getting big. Also, to all the first responders and the men and women in the armed services, thank you all for your service and the sacrifices you all make every day to keep us safe. Our guest for next Thursday night, December 7th, will be another one of my good friends, Troy Black. Troy is a Ghostbuster. That's all I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it at that, and he'll explain to you next Thursday all about his Ghostbusting. I look forward to talking to my dear old friend. Everyone, you can, want to, like to, go to our Facebook page Within the Chaos, and don't forget to like it if you don't mind. And there you can see our upcoming guests and our shows that we got coming on. Granted, I've only got one more coming up. Maybe we're going to have one December, let me look here, 14th. And if we have that one, we're going to probably take a couple of weeks off because I'm tired. It's been a long year, and I've enjoyed this year, but I got this photo shoot in Black Diamond. I'm covered up. I got shit to do, and plus I got to line some guests out. I'm kind of dipped in the well and it's a little dry. So y'all want to check out my website? It's www.blackdiamondps.org, or you can go to blogtalkradio.com/Within the Chaos. And thanks again. Until next week, everyone have a safe weekend and a good night.
Good night, everyone.
What y'all want to listen to? Y'all want to listen to some music? Let's listen to Jerry Sword. We got a few minutes.
Living days on fire, I'm Introducing Hardee's $5 All-Star Meals. Loaded with satisfying classics. For just $5, you get a charbroiled double cheeseburger hot dog and, oh yeah, fries, drink, and a fresh baked cookie. Or a double cheeseburger, a spicy chicken sandwich, and what? The fries, drink, cookie thing again? Or hand-breaded tenders and, spoiler alert, fries, drinks, and cookies for days, y'all. All for just $5. The $5 All-Star Meals. Stop by Hardee's and get yourself one today. Price of participation may vary. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Tax not included.